The war was over. 10 years of battle between the gods and the Titans had finally ended, with the young gods victorious. Cronus had fallen, and one by one the Titans were cast into the shadows of Tartarus. But one great question remained. Who would rule the world now? Three brothers stood face to face. Zeus, Poseidon, Hades. Each a god of immense power, but with hearts that couldn't be more different. Zeus, eyes lifted to the sky, ambitious, charismatic, and hungry for rule. Poseidon, proud and temperamental, seeking a domain as wild and deep as his spirit, the sea. And Hades, quiet, solemn, as if he always knew his place wasn't in the light. They stood together on the ashen ground left by war. Zeus removed an old goatskin cloak from his shoulders and carved 3 olive wood sticks. On one he wrote, "Sky," on the second, "Sea," and on the last, "Underworld with closed eyes," they drew. Fate had spoken. Poseidon pulled the sea, his hair whipped by the wind, as if the ocean itself smiled. Hades picked the final stick and said nothing. And Zeus? He became Lord of the skies, god of thunder and ruler of Mount Olympus. Now, king of the gods, Zeus sought to strengthen his throne. And so he married his sister, Hera. But it was not a marriage of love. To win her heart, Zeus transformed into a wounded bird. When Hera cradled him in pity, he returned to his true form and asked for her hand. Hera refused him again and again, but eventually she gave in. Mount Olympus was chosen as the gods' new home. Golden palaces rose among the clouds, and one by one the gods found their place. But Zeus was never faithful. He had many lovers, Leto, Danae, Callisto, and every time Hera burned with fury, not against Zeus, but against the women and their children. She cursed Leto, leaving her no land to give birth. She turned Callisto into a bear. Years passed, and the gods emerged. Athena, born from Zeus's head, in armor and blazing eyes. Apollo and Artemis, twins of sun and moon. Apollo, god of archery, music, and light. Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Ares, god of war, son of Zeus and Hera, full of fury. And Hephaestus, the child born deformed, cast down from the heavens by his own mother. But what of the other 2 brothers, rulers of sea and shadow, beneath the layers of rock and molten stone, where no light could reach? Hades, the silent and cold brother, sat upon his dark throne, the king of the dead. He wore a crown of shadows and held a staff that made spirits tremble. In his realm, souls drifted like smoke, and Persephone, once a daughter of light, now sat beside him, queen of the dark. But this love was not born of choice. Hades had taken her, just as death takes life, without permission. Elsewhere, in the stormy depths of the sea, Poseidon, with his 3-pronged spear, split the waters. Waves obeyed his voice, and sea monsters bowed before him. He was the king of the deep, not seeking dominion, but commanding untamed power. And so, the trinity of power forged a fragile balance in the world. But rule is never eternal, not when gods love, betray, and bear children who would one day rise to challenge the very kings who sired them. In the next episode, a girl destined to change the world forever, and a boy fated to bring down his own father.